And man, do we have kind of a sinister one for you today.
Yeah, so if you guys read the title, you'll probably see it says China wants teen pregnancies and babies to learn Xi Jinping thought. Now, those are two separate things, but they kind of tie in because
absolutely tie in.
It's part of this huge platform. And I think there's something that I've been fighting with nationalists about, or Wu Mao's about, kind of, because they want to have their cake and eat it too. What I mean is they want to have this fervent nationalist platform in China where everyone's unified and can say all these horrible racist things all the time.
Yes.
And they want to have that, and they want to run with it, and they want their language barrier to be up so that nobody understands what they're saying domestically. And then to the rest of the world, they want to look like progressive, very, very tolerant, awesome, future forward, AI, 5G, high tech,
exactly,
amazing people that just want to show you how beautiful their country is.
They've got all the answers, lift people out of poverty, have great technological inventions and stuff, which is all not true.
What's actually happening right now in, if you break down that language barrier, is very akin to what happened in the beginning of Hitler's Germany.
Yes.
And I don't say that lightly, and I'm not trying to get a rise out of people. That's quite literally what's happening with ethno-nationalism in China right now.
Yeah.
It's an ethno-state, and it's becoming dangerous. Because,
so, I mean, everybody these days is kind of bored of people saying, like, oh, you're a literal Nazi or whatever. But this is... Look, look past that. That's cheap stuff. That's cheap tactics where you just want to get a rise out of someone or make someone... We're actually being factual here. Like you were saying, it's about the ethno-state.
Yes. And I think this quote, I want to start this off with this quote. When I was putting this together, I think it was most important that you guys see this quote from Xi Jinping in a museum. Can you get us on it?
Yeah, sure. What does it say?
It says, here's a quote from Xi Jinping in a museum. I believe it's in Sichuan. It says, "The newest research in archaeology shows that China is the origin of human civilizations in the East, and Africa is just another place for the origin of humans." And what that means is China has evolved separately racially to the rest of the world and is the motherland of all Asian people.
Yeah, so all Asian, what he's saying there is all Asian civilizations come from China.
From China. Yeah. And the rest of evolution happened from Africa, but that's not related to China.
No, it's like we're separate.
And that's, I don't know why we are at a point now where we're kind of entertaining China on a diplomatic level when this is the national rhetoric from the top, right?
They've been trying to do this for years, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, we covered
Tiptoeing.
We covered this a while ago, this Peking man thing. And Peking man is supposedly, they found this the skeletal remains of completely separate to like whatever we're based on Neanderthals and Homo whatever.
In China, we're not all allowed to come from the same thing.
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
no way us superior Han people can come from.
So there's been a theory which has been actually presented as fact many times in the past few decades, that Chinese people evolved from a separate ancestor to the rest of the world. Yeah. And it's called Peking man. Yeah. So they're like, we found this, and it proves that Chinese people have got nothing to do with Africans, nothing to do with Europeans.
We're not related.
Separate. We're like,
it was convergent
master
evolution
race
or whatever.
Bullshit, it's all that kind of thing.
Divergent, I can't remember which one.
Anyway, scientifically it's been proven false.
Or inconclusive, at least. Yeah.
Well, the fact is they did tests and found out that the same origins of whatever DNA and stuff that you find in everyone else is also found in Chinese people. So they're the same.
We all come from the same place.
Yeah, we're all humans.
Spoiler alert.
Exactly. Yeah, we got different breeds of humans. We're a little different here. Right. That's just how it is. Some of us have silky coats and others don't. But that's the thing.
I don't know.
Well, like if
my coat's not silky.
You know what I mean? I'll scratch your back, you perm mine type thing. You know how that goes.
For sure.
Depends on where you come from.
Absolutely.
But hey, here's the thing. Look at this. This is China trying to claim that the origin of the Chinese race is separate from everyone else.
At an official level.
This bullshit keeps cropping up and it keeps being proven wrong, but then they keep finding ways to kind of go back to it and reignite this theory.
Yes.
And you can see that through that Xi Jinping quote. Even if Xi Jinping's saying that, maybe not in as many words.
I do think this quote's very important.
Yeah, because it's the great dear leader, whatever, supreme leader.
And you would never see this quote posted in English on a Harvard website.
No.
Or something like, let's just say, I don't know why I said Harvard, but let's just think about it like an American institution.
You know why I said Harvard? Because they keep doing studies on behalf of China. And China's always quoting them. Hey. Look, this Harvard study proved.
I'll tell you what, the American education system at the top levels, at the university level, man, you guys gotta reorganize a little bit here, because I think your funding from China is getting a little heavy-handed. Anyway, I think it's important to understand that quote, because you would never see that in English and promoted by China in the English language. That is for Chinese people to see.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And they're relying on that kind of
language barrier
to hide their intent, right? And when I say they, I'm talking about the Chinese government's intent at being superior and separate to the rest of the world, very similar to what we saw North Korea do as they closed off over time.
Yeah.
And we're getting to that point. When you see economic downturn with an authoritarian state and very, very low freedom of press, you watch states close down so that they can deal with their domestic issues. And that's what we're dealing with.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the same time, they want to have their cake and eat it too, and control other countries' narratives around China and make sure that people are giving them what they need. Right?
Correct.
Now, this is a great example that you pulled up. Why don't you explain this?
Okay, so Xi Jinping thought.
I do. I'll talk about it in a little bit.
Okay, well, basically, there's this program now on this app where they're trying to teach Xi Jinping thought to fetuses in the womb. Okay?
Yes.
And I think rather than trying to explain it, let's watch and we can read through the subtitles along with everyone
I have
out
a whole
there.
breakdown of Xi Jinping thought after this.
Yes. So this was released by the Great Translation Movement. And for those of you who don't know the Great Translation Movement, they're fantastic. You can find them on Twitter. And they are doing a great job at getting rid of some of the mystique behind the Chinese internet. Because just like that quote from Xi Jinping, you would never have known about it unless somebody actually translated and told you about it.
Correct.
And it's the same with everything else. News that's released in China, in the newspaper, they literally say, oh, America is our enemy. Okay?
Yep.
But when they're facing the rest of the world, we have to join hands to...
America, why are you bullying?
Yeah, it's like, oh, we have to, meanwhile, like to the local population, they're like, screw the outside world.
Yeah, we hope it dies.
Yeah, exactly. So let's take a look at this absolute absurdity over here. We'll get us out of here. Okay, so... Xi Jinping Thought Learning App is an excellent platform which has a wealth of learning content. And it has accompanied me through a taut early pregnancy. Yeah, well, taut is what it says there.
Yeah, I'm just reading the Chinese.
Yeah, exactly. So in pregnancy, once heard the party's theoretical knowledge, my baby's fetal movement was too much. Okay, that's like...
So Xi Jinping thought, before we get into some examples, is basically the ideas of the dictator. And now you're supposed to have an app, especially if you work for the government, you have to have it. And you have to be following his doctrine. Xi Jinping thinks this, he thinks that. This is why the party is good. And she played this to her fetus.
Yeah, and then she says it responds by moving around. No shit, it's probably like, turn that crap off. I can't, I'm trying to develop here. You know, I'm trying to develop. I can't block my ears. My arms aren't long enough. What are you doing to me in here? You know what I mean? It's so unfair. This poor kid's learning Xi Jinping thought in the freaking womb.
This is a sick country now.
Pathetic. It's
I'm
pathetic.
So sorry. I feel bad for Chinese people. They have to download this app.
Yes. And I mean, to put it into perspective for people, this is some shit that Xi Jinping came up with like probably 10 years ago. He's like, I'm just going to make a book about my thoughts and force everyone in the country to agree with them and listen to them, study them, and take tests.
Yes.
And it's not, dude, this Xi Jinping thought, because I know doctors, right? Doctors, they are state employees in China.
Yes.
They have to every day.
It's any what is
state
it called?
Employee, like government
not just
employee.
State employee. It's called it's even a bigger umbrella. A civil worker.
Yes, yeah, civil servant.
Civil servant. So anyone that's even adjacent to it.
Yeah. You have to open up this damn Xi Jinping Thought app.
Yeah.
And you have to answer quizzes every day and make sure you pass a certain pass rate.
Yes.
Otherwise you get penalized. Yeah. What kind of garbage is this?
Well, I mean,
it's a man.
What have they done? Like, they're poisoning society, right? Yeah. And the thing is, a lot of people want nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
But the civil service, they make up over 100 million people in China.
It's a freaking man. It's not like a deity or some religious thing that has had thousands of years to develop.
Yes.
So I mean, one could argue that the Bible's also just a man wrote that junk or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, it's got thousands of years of lore and history and people coming together and agreeing on one thing. It's not
or multiple interpretations.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like tons of different people. So it's not one man.
Yeah.
It's like okay, let's just say I hate ice cream. And now I'm that one man who hates ice cream. Now I get to write down this thing and everyone has to read it and they have to say, liking ice cream is a crime, is a sin. And that's because I decided. If it was multiple people, they'd say, shut the hell up, man. What's wrong with you?
I'll be honest with you. If you brought this up in 2010 right, in China and said, you're going to have a dictator after Hu Jintao, and he's going to make you download an app and study his thoughts, they would all say, no, Mao is dead.
Yeah.
Mao, that part's over. This is the new China. Like, we're modernizing. They would scoff. Yeah. But again, this is what happens when the framework's already been written. The framework was written for a dictatorship. It didn't change.
It's absolute pathetic stuff, dude.
It's like Kim Jong-un haircuts.
Yeah, it is. It's like a power-hungry, disgusting cult of personality thing. And to now be forcing fetuses to learn this is pathetic.
Yes.
Anyway, let's continue.
Yeah. 特别大，当时朋友还开玩笑。
Then friends joke that
宝宝的
the baby's theoretical knowledge will be very
理论
solid.
知识以后会很扎实，然后学习强国里面，
In Xi Jinping Thought Learning app, there are English enlightenment
它还
songs,
有英语启蒙儿歌，妈妈
lullabies, and so on.
Oh my gosh. Dude. All right, so here's the deal. We got to get our hands on this app. I have to do it. I'll probably end up
I'm
doing a
just
video.
curious, like, what is a lullaby?
I want to know a Xi Jinping lullaby.
Hush, little baby, don't you cry, because if you do, you'll surely die.
Yeah, I guess.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't say a word against the party or you'll end up, I don't know,
being tardy too.
being a puddle of tank run over thing. I don't even know.
God.
It's bad. Like a lullaby from Xi Jinping Thought app is like my nightmare. I would hate that. Can you just imagine that? It's like, imagine there was like Biden lullabies or something, but everybody had to learn it. You know?
Biden lullabies.
What the hell? Or like Alex Jones lullabies.
Alex Jones.
Like, what the hell, dude? Like InfoWars. Yeah, exactly. Imagine that was a thing. But
it's like techno remixes.
Yeah, exactly. But it's reached a stage that everybody has to listen to this crap and take it seriously. You know what I mean?
This is out of control.
It's out of control. Anyway, let's see what else.
他有人取的，所以他也
So it's also my fetal education and early education tool.
Can I just say this is so important that you understand that that everyone's banking on this language barrier.
Yeah.
Because this is actually what's happening at a state level in China.
Yeah.
It's not what you're seeing on TikTok. It's not China's 3,000 years ahead. It's
not like, oh, look at the high-speed rail.
This is what's happening. It's a you understand, it's a massive slap in the face to your intellect and to your understanding and trust, I should say.
Yeah.
Right?
Xi Jinping Thought Learning app for your fetal baby in your stomach. It's going to sing you lullabies.
It better not be in your stomach.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, in your womb.
Yeah, obviously, you know.
Well, some people.
No, but seriously though, like.
Yeah, but some people.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, the
might
fact
be in their stomach.
Yeah, maybe yes.
You know, the soup place.
Oh yeah, that's right. Anyway, gross. Yeah, let's continue on. Yeah.
也成了我胎教和早教的工具。然后他现在宝宝
Now the baby
出
is
生以后
born.，
他就陪宝宝。
She app accompanies the baby to grow up together. Okay, so yeah.
Look at this image.
They're all there to learn about this app. Yeah. So this wonderful app, you play the Xi Jinping Thought where he's, you know, probably in his bullshit voice because he always sounds like so like
he's gonna fall asleep. That's the lullaby.
Yeah, that's maybe it's just like him talking about like 如果你要上去先下去 or something, whatever the hell he says. He's gonna have some bullshit. You know, he probably came up with the Xi Jinping Thought when he was just like drunk Abijah sitting on the toilet and he's like, the walls are white. There's water on the floor.
Yeah.
Writing that down.
It's not even that artistic. Dude.
No, it's just
very
junk.
literal crap.
It's junk, yeah. It's like in order to, you know.
I translated in the entire textbook.
Yeah, I know.
By hand.
We're going to see some of it. So you can see firsthand what we're talking about. But so you teach this to your fetal baby, and then as soon as the baby's born, you're blasting this crap. And they're growing up with this subliminal shit in their mind all the time. It's terrible. So, okay.
一起成长。现在宝宝也是学习
Now my baby has become a cute fan of She app.
强国的一位小粉丝。我是杨前平，邀请您一起在。
I'm Yang Jinping, invite you to join the Xi Jinping Hainan branch.
Oh, wait,
app
what?
branch.
The what branch?
Hainan.
What is that? Or who's in Hainan?
Oh, we know who's in Hainan. Oh, not this. Sorry. I'm sorry. I pressed the wrong one. Pearl White Beaches. Hainan, actually, for those of you who don't know, is quite important when it comes to Chinese government.
Oh yes,
there's a lot of like
it's
kind
of like where they're setting
stuff.
up all their crap now.
Yeah, there's a lot of important stuff that goes on there. So this is another example of that.
学习强国海南学习平台，新海南客户端一起。
Okay, what? Learn the parties of CCP's history on the client side.
学党史，悟思想，
Learn the party's history, illuminate minds,
办实事，开心。
work on practical matters, create new situations. And there,
There's the She app.
oh yeah, there's the She app. There's the actual app itself that they're busy promoting on a state level.
端海南。
Ta-da! Isn't that awesome?
It is.
Well, everybody, do you want to become like a mindless slave to a communist authoritarian government? This is how you start. Treat your kids, your unborn children, to this. You know, they say some people play like classical music to their children or whatever.
This is the
Communist Party's version of that. Play absolute drivel from Xi Jinping to your kid, and then as it grows up, it listens to this too on repeat.
Really messed up if you think about it.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's talk a bit about it, because you translated some of this. Do you want to explain what's going on here?
Yeah, so there's this big campaign in schools to go around and make the kids say things to prove that they are Chinese. They would go around, the teacher would basically go around and say, 说一句话，你证明你是中国人. So, like, say something that proves you're Chinese. And
that you're really Chinese.
Yeah, the students would applaud if it was a good one.
We've got a couple examples here.
And this was part of the Xi Jinping thought campaign.
Right.
用一句话证明你是中国人。如果
心眼有颜色，那一定是中。
If my beliefs had a color, they would be China red. 中国红, which means like kind of Communist Party of China.
Yeah, communist red.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you know, that's true. What do they say? Better dead than red?
Yeah, or vice versa.
Something like that. Better red than dead? I don't think so.
I think it's because like, I'd rather be a communist than die.
Oh,
like
is that it?
Revolution's happening, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, either way.
It could be the other way around too.
Yeah.
You could go either way.
I also feel like if you're a little girl at school who's probably like 10 years old or something, you shouldn't be thinking about shit like that.
Not our fault.
No, and that's the problem.
Them do it.
Well, especially since like the womb.
Yes.
If that's the indoctrination.
This is true.
Okay, what's this little girl going to say? Let's get out of here.
Say something to prove you're Chinese. I'll just read over it.
Yeah.
We got a free COVID vaccine. That's just prove you're Chinese.
Yeah, well, we got a COVID vaccine too, the free one.
Yeah. I didn't prove I was Chinese, though.
No. But yeah, so apparently if anyone got a free COVID vaccine out there, that proves that you're really Chinese. You better watch out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, now you can say that.
Yes.
Anyway.
So this is the thoughts of Xi Jinping. So I got a hold of the
By the way, if you unironically ever bought and read this book, I really don't like you.
Well, I mean, I think, unironically.
I mean, unironically, if you actually did it for like, I'm going to learn something useful.
I think you should probably just read it online, not give money to the CCP.
Probably.
Like if you want to learn what it is.
You know how they pushed this book so much when I was in China?
Yeah.
They try to force it down. They were trying to give it away for free to me as a foreigner. They try to push it everywhere.
Dude, in the airports, it'll be like a bookstore. It'll be like a bookstore, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, let me see what's going to be in here. You go to the bookstore, you buy like a car magazine. I'll buy a car magazine, and I usually buy The Economist. And then I read that on the plane. Mm-hmm. In China, you better believe none of that stuff's allowed, right? You go in there, and I kid you not, a few times it was only displays of Xi Jinping thought. Yeah. Like that covered everything. Mm-hmm. Outside and inside of the bookstore in the airport.
Yep. Any place that was like with lots of foreigners, you'd find this book
in
somewhere.
Yeah.
Like you go to a coffee shop or something, it's there.
Yes.
It's there for you to look at and read. And you know, it's really funny is some CCP shills actually like carry it around like a Bible.
Yeah, I saw that.
Remember?
Yeah.
We saw that.
And they make sure it's like in their shots.
Yeah, just to like prove their loyalty to the party.
Dude, it's so sad.
I know, it's terrible.
Imagine that's your life. You have to masquerade that you even ever opened that book once.
Yeah, exactly.
You never opened it.
No.
It's just up there in your cubby, in your van or
yeah,
whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, it's so pathetic. Yeah.
Whatever you're doing.
Yeah. So let's continue. Are we going to prove some more?
Yeah, we'll do some more.
Okay, so say something to prove you're Chinese and get us out of there.
是中国人。
此生不悔入华夏。
I have no regrets entering life as a Chinese and leaving life as a Chinese person.
Imagine making a kid say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why is your nationality so important to you that you're teaching 10-year-old kids that dying as a Chinese person is incredibly important to your existence?
By the way, how do you change?
Yeah, I guess you naturalize.
Well, I suppose you can, but you're still always going to be a Chinese person, right?
No.
Ethnically.
Ethnically, yeah.
Ethnically.
But you know they're not.
But they're talking about the nationality.
You never separate the state
you
from
can't.
the nationality.
You can't, yeah, not in China. Yeah, it's kind of sad to be saying things like that. My nationality is not important to me.
You know, it's not at all.
It's the individual is what's important to me when I meet people.
Yeah, imagine meeting someone and they're like...
Imagine basing someone based on their nationality, judging them solely based on their nationality.
Imagine if I met someone and they're like... I'm from Czech Republic. And I'm like, gosh, shit, I'm out.
Yeah,
sorry,
exactly.
Dude. I don't like Czechs.
Yeah, exactly. It's so dumb.
It's ridiculous. Anyway, the fact that they have to say this phrase, what does that tell you? What does that actually tell you?
Well, I mean, it tells you that they're breeding nationalism.
It also tells you that there are millions of Chinese people that leave China.
Yes.
And they have to indoctrinate kids to make them not want to do that.
Yes.
Because China has not provided a country that Chinese people even want to stay in.
Yes, given the opportunity.
Look at the immigration records.
Given the opportunity, 99% of Chinese people, if you walked up to them on the street and there were no strings attached, and you're like, would you like to go to...
Yeah, I mean, they'll never give you a straight answer.
Yeah,
like that,
would you like... But no, if you genuinely gave them an opportunity. Because, look, we've had these conversations behind closed doors with our Chinese friends, and they will say, of course, like if they had the opportunity to go to the UK or Canada or, anywhere in the developed world, they'd do it.
Through brainwashing, that is, I would drop that figure way lower now.
Yeah, sure.
But it's, but in general, like, by and large, like, given the opportunity.
The majority.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see, what else do we have here?
You have the brainwashing of Xi Jinping thought is to make sure everyone is Chinese. So you have this
the Uyghurs,
Uyghur population that's being brainwashed from a young age. They put their parents in the camps, and they take the children, they round them up, and it's so sad. Like the videos you don't want to see. They round them up and they put them in these camps, these forced education camps, and they make them say that they're Chinese because they're not. They're ethnically Uyghur people. Right.
Yeah. What's the Xi Jinping Xin Shidai?
This is the one I translated.
Okay.
I translated.
Welcome
every page of
to
this
Xi Jinping thought.
Okay. Anyway, you can listen to my voice.
Okay.
For a new era for socialism with Chinese
This is the
characteristics.
textbook in schools.
On this page, we can see it says, "There is a great nation in the east of the world called China. Her name is the People's Republic of China. It's our mother country. We are all Chinese. Uncle Xi Jinping says, loving your country is the deepest and longest, most important emotion in your life. It's a person's basic morality, and it's how you become successful."
So this is just one of many pages. I translated the whole thing.
Yeah, you've
That's
got
not a video. But the point I wanted to show that is that Xi Jinping thought for adults was distilled into a forced curriculum now, all the way from the bottom.
Yeah.
Kids always had nationalist agendas forced on them from a young age, but now it's specifically Xi Jinping thought.
So it's not just, hey, you're going to learn Marx and Lenin and all that crap in school, because they forced that on the kids. I remember that.
Yeah.
And that whole love the party. You get that in all countries. So, you'll have flag raising and stuff or whatever and stand up and sing the national anthem in a lot of countries. Not all countries, a lot of countries. In China, they get up in the morning and they sing the national anthem. They have a flag-raising ceremony for the Chinese flag, and they pledge. Yeah, they have the red handkerchiefs. They pledge allegiance to the Communist Party. They pledge their devotion and love to the Communist Party of China.
Yeah, not the country.
Not to China, to the Communist Party of China, and that's the creepy thing. It's
also much deeper than that because you have entire classes dedicated to the thought of one man.
Yeah, of course, and I think that's where you can differentiate things because when I grew up, we had a national anthem.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the ruling party is or, who the government is. It's the national anthem about the country. An American national anthem is about the country, not about the Democrats or the Republicans or Biden or Trump or whatever. Nope. It's about the country. Yeah. In China, it's about the party.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Anyway, what's this that you got going on here?
So now on to the next part. This is about how China wants teen pregnancies. Can you make this big real quick? Because I have to, I'm not bragging. I don't brag, but I will say that Winston and I have been calling this for a very long time now.
Good. I was thinking you were going to say teen pregnancies. I know all about that. I'm not going to brag here, but
Winston and I got
fair number.
When we were a little younger. When we were teens.
Yeah, no, but seriously.
So anyway, listen. We've watched China go from the one-child policy, forced abortions, to the two-child policy, to the three-child policy.
Yeah.
To now incentivizing people to have children. And
Yes.
we called that at some point, because of the demographic collapse, the fact that China's not replacing itself, the fact that there's too many old people and there's not enough people that make enough money in the younger age bracket to take care of those people and lead the country, that they're going to have to do something to reverse all these horrible policies that the previous leaders had.
Yes.
And so we are like, well, it is a one-party authoritarian state. We know China does crazy, crazy things. It won't be out of the realm of possibility that people will start being forced or penalized for not having babies.
Right.
And we will start to see this idea that you should get married later and first find a career and stuff to go out the window and start promoting that younger people have children.
That's
and
right.
we've been seeing inklings that China and the Chinese government is starting to get rid of the idea that you need to be married and successful to have children now.
Yeah.
And it's starting to be tested and kind of massaged into public ideology that this is okay.
Yeah.
And they're trying to see how the public reacts to this. So what they did was, in this little village in Sichuan, they put out this this document, this notice, public notice, that they're giving away free folic acid to women of childbearing age, ages 15 to 49, right?
Yeah.
And so people are like, what do you mean ages 15 to 49? Because this is at a pregnancy clinic, right?
Yes.
And people are like, wait, so you want 15-year-olds to get pregnant?
Yeah.
And so they were like, wait a minute. So they quickly put out this propaganda to combat this.
Okay. Yeah.
I just want to put it in the
see
background
Okay. I'll get a small
while I talk about this. It's got pretty low volume, I think.
It's pretty high. I'm going to lower it even more. Give me a second.
But basically, they had to emergency say, oh, it was just because we were not clear. And there was multiple different propaganda outlets.
You can see that 15 to 49 sway. So that means, ages of 15 to 49.
Yes. So what they were doing was they're putting out multiple things to combat this. They're like, oh, actually, the department wasn't clear. What they meant was childbearing age just means like biologically, that's when women can give birth. So that's what it would be given. But still, if you get the folic acid, like a supplement, then you still have to provide your marriage certificate and the fact that you're legally married and all this kind of stuff. They're like, we are definitely following the law of the Communist Party of China, right? And it was kind of a knee-jerk reaction because you can see this is deliberate.
Yes.
You can see that this is kind of like, I wonder if the public will be chill with having like younger people give birth, right? Because this is kind of what we've been seeing the party going in that direction.
By the way, the age of consent in China, I believe, is 14.
Yeah. That was
for women anyway.
Yeah, people were talking about that in what's it called, in the subreddit, and I don't think that's something that China even takes seriously, to be honest, because there's all those cases of those like creepy uncles and bad people in villages and stuff who just get away with this nonstop. Remember we went to that village where that girl was, I won't even get into details, by the party official there. And it was completely swept under the rug. And the whole village went crazy, but nothing was done about it.
Yeah, because you can't in that kind of situation.
But anyway, long story short, they're trying to rectify this by saying like, oh, it's just a mistake. Like they didn't mean that. They just meant biologically. That's what they meant at that age.
I like the excuse. They said, well, if the mother's going to go in for these vitamins, may as well, or the family member, may as well give to the younger women too.
Oftentimes families go together. And
but
so...
one thing that's interesting is the Chinese translation of folic acid is Yeswan.
Yeswan,
which means, what does it mean?
Yeswan means pregnant acid,
sour.
Pregnant sour, pregnant acid.
Swan means acid, but so sour basically means acid. But it's literally translates to pregnancy acid.
Yes.
So pregnancy medicine.
Yeah, so they can't say, oh, this is a vitamin for something else.
They're like, they put out a notice, we'll be giving free pregnancy, acid
from a pregnancy department of a hospital.
Yeah, to 15-year-olds.
Yes.
So they're trying to do this, and look, we're not far off from the point where it's going to be like a government mandate that you must get pregnant.
I'm calling it, and that it's things like this that show that this is kind of what they're teasing in. And again, there's some propaganda outlets that are saying, oh, they just mistyped it, and then they went from mistyped to no, it's deliberate, but that's not what they meant.
In China,
it's like
for the longest time, and this is what pisses me off a lot.
Yeah.
For the longest time, it's been my body, not my choice.
Yes.
Okay.
Either way.
So many progressive people in the West praise China for some freaking reason. This whole like women hold up half the sky or whatever. That's bullshit. Don't forget, not long ago, really not long ago, like what, 20 years ago, they were still forcing abortions.
Yeah. Oh, 20 years ago, dude. Way more recent than that.
No, it's more recent. Yeah. When was it that the one-child policy ended? We were there.
2015.
Yeah, we were there. So
let's see. I'll just look.
I remember when it ended. It was like a thing. But yeah, so when was it?
2015, I called it.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's right. Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
So as recent as 2015, if you had a child,
Yes.
you already had one child, you try to have another one, they would forcefully abort your baby.
Yes.
And they would hunt you down.
Yes.
You're living in a village, they used to have those abortion vans.
Don't get too detailed because we don't get age restricted.
Yeah, we don't want to get age restricted. But I'm saying, like, anyone who thinks China's a progressive place and who praises China for certain things, just get that out of your head.
They will kill your baby or they will make you have a baby. This is coming soon.
Yeah, exactly. So the fact that they would forcefully, abort your baby, no matter how long-term it was, okay, the fact that they would do that without any choice on your behalf. You can't imagine you're like, oh, my body, my choice. They'll be like, no, bitch, our body, our choice.
Yeah, that's what the CCP does.
Yeah.
It's crazy because it's the opposite of a progressive thing. You have no control in either direction. And there have been teasing getting rid of like prophylactics and things like this, or the promotion of them, of birth control and stuff. It's slowly happening, and mark our words. I mean, how many times have we been wrong about what the party ends up doing? It's very clear because you can watch it when you're in China.
Yeah, you see it happen.
When they're testing policy, this is kind of how it rolls out.
Yeah. So they're testing it. They've been offering incentives like, for instance, you can get discounts on real estate deals and things. If you have a second child now, they've got all these stupid tax breaks and things. So now it's the incentive phase where it's like the carrot, and soon it's going to be the stick. Soon it'll be like, okay, you must be if you're not pregnant by this age, then there are penalties. You're going to have to pay fines. They're probably then after that, they're going to start actually forcing people to go into fertility clinics and get artificially inseminated. Who knows?
And people can say, oh, that's extreme. How could you guys possibly know? That's ridiculous. Guys, do you remember when China said that they weren't going to be harsh with zero COVID policy, and then firemen couldn't even get inside burning buildings without COVID tests and people burned to death?
Yep.
Do you remember when people were welded into their homes, and now China doesn't even want people to talk about COVID?
Yep.
Let's just not forget what country we're dealing with here. The craziest, most batshit country in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course they'll do that.
Yeah, we're calling it. So
how is forcing someone to have a kid any more of a moral problem with what's it called? With women's body rights,
reproductive rights,
than forced abortions? And if they were doing that on a wide scale, then why would they not do that?
Yeah.
You understand? It's the same thing.
It's the same thing in the opposite way.
You're taking a woman, you're taking away her reproductive rights.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what direction it's in. So I don't know why people are arguing that, of course, they're not going to go that far.
No.
Yeah, they will. They already did.
Yeah, absolutely they will. In China, people do not want to get involved in anyone else's problems because it might affect them.
Yeah, they don't want to get sued. They don't want to be
They just don't want their life to...
They don't want to get up.
She passed out from heat exhaustion. There are crowds there. And not a single person goes to help. Right? The security guard's like, I'm out of here.
This is not my job.
Dude looks over. He's like, whatever. Everybody's like driving past.
It's normal for them to happen.
Look, woman walks past. She's like, oh, okay. Like I said, it's the go-to in China. It is the norm to do this. Okay.
Yeah, to look.
Today in this video, I'm gonna share with you guys how to have dirty talk in bed. Open your legs widely. Show me your private parts, you bitch.
When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs. And if my mind